That's a very good distinction, an important distinction to make. The previous elites were elites of and naturally conservative of a society or a civilization that they too wanted to preserve. The new elites represents something that, in my mind, threatens the civilization that we have. I mean, the point I made earlier, that Charles's SMI organisation is going to make life more expensive for people like you and I, that places him well and truly in the middle of these new elites that you refer to, doesn't it?
Well, those new elites are often very wealthy, and they're often executives in organisations, in corporations. Rarely are they small businessmen, people who've made themselves, who've achieved things themselves, but they are certainly along those lines. He has been very much attracted to the theory of global warming. But on the other hand, this is not, I don't think one can typecast him into the form of a new elite. For example, his views on such matters as architecture are very much traditional. His views, for example, on the liturgy, on the Book of Common Prayer, his preference for the Cramnerian version of the English liturgy is very old and not the sort of thing which would attract the modern elite. So I don't think we can really typecast the king.
Yes, but if you, like me, think that this climate cult is a serious threat to Western civilization, and traditionally I do consider the monarchy an essential part of that structure, what's your advice to people like me, and there's quite a few of us, I'd argue, who, whether or not we should support this monarchy? I mean, I can't understate it, Professor, that Western civilization is in a fight for its survival, and one of the key threats to its survival is this climate cult that is restricting freedom of movement, freedom of enterprise, in some ways freedom of speech, and the king is right behind it. Why should we support him?
The organisation that I belong to, Australians for Constitutional Monarchy, is essentially one which is united on the constitutional importance of the Crown as an institution. It was the Crown that came here in 1788. It is the Crown that has been with us on every important occasion. It is the institution, and it's an institution which is exercised at different levels. For example, the Governors-General and the governors exercise the powers of the Crown, but it is the institution which is the important thing. And in our charter, for example, it is accepted that many of us, including John Howard, many of us regard ourselves as already a republic. We are a crowned republic in the sense that Montesquieu recognised the English monarchy as effectively, he called it a disguised republic. We say it is a crowned republic. That is very much reflected in the views of our founders, who decided that this country should take the name Commonwealth. Now, what is a Commonwealth? It is certainly, in one of its many meanings, it is certainly the English word for a republic. So we are already republicans, but we support a crowned republic in which the king plays a significant role, but he does not play a powerful role. His power, as with the power of the crown, is not so much the actual power the king wields or the crown wields, it is the power they deny others, and it is what he sets as a standard in relation to the others who exercise the power of the crown, that is the Governors-General and the governors. So it's more complicated than that. It's not as simple as what are his views, for example, on the Book of Common Prayer, what are his views, for example, on modern architecture, what are his views even on global warming. These are not important. What is important is that he maintains the office of the king and thereby the Crown. And that's the important institution in our system. And the Westminster system really only works properly with a Crown. It doesn't work well with some sort of imposed president. For example, all of the models which have been proposed by the Republican establishment have been politicians' republic. Every one of those models which are being proposed as alternatives to the existing system are ones in which the powers of the political class would be increased.